Guys, I'm going to level with you. Had a meeting with my boss this morning. Came out of that meeting knowing I need to get to 8,300 subscribers on this video, or this might be my last video here at Chat Sports. So I'm going to be as transparent and simple as possible. Click the subscribe button. 50 subs away. Let's do it, Broncos country. Let's ride. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, telling you about our proud presenting sponsor today, Aura, which is an all-in-one digital safety company that's giving Broncos country a 14-day free trial when you go to aura.com/chatsports. The link and all that information is down below. We'll tell you more about their awesome features later on in today's show. But speaking of today's show, here's what we got on tap for the people. ESPN selected this Broncos player as the most underrated player on the team's roster, so we'll dive through that. Then we're going to get to the biggest concern for 2022 according to The Athletic, and we'll wrap up the show with a nice juicy article that came to us thanks to Bleacher Report, where they identified a couple household names coming our way in 2022, and lo and behold, a Broncos player made the list. But first up, ESPN picked Tim Patrick as the most underrated player on the Broncos, and I come away thinking, no shit, Sherlock. I mean, this is one of the most underrated players on the team. He is criminally underrated just across the NFL landscape because he's stuck behind Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, some more popular household names. But when you look at the stats from 2020, as ESPN pointed out in their article, Tim Patrick leads the big-name receivers in the last two seasons in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. He has quietly been Mr. Consistent for this team. So here's what ESPN wrote in their article. Patrick signed a 3-year contract extension last November and is slated to be the number 3 receiver Russell Wilson has lacked for many years. Sutton and many others will get all the attention, but Patrick's the guy Wilson will be looking for on 3rd and 7. I think they're spot on with that too. Tim Patrick is the guy you go to when you need a first down over the middle and it's some hard-fought yards, but Patrick just has a knack for finding a way to getting it done. He is the glue guy on this roster. I've joked before that if you're at a team party, like say Von Miller's party, when maybe some players don't get invited, or no, that's backwards. He had the party after the team went on the losing streak last year, and then not everyone Venmo'd him for that, and that's maybe why he got traded. No, that's a ridiculous rumor. But Patrick's the guy where you're at the party and you're like, crap, we're out of beer. Patrick's going to go pick up some more cases. Like, he's that guy, right? How about this? He's the Bud Light. Remember the Dilly Dilly? He's the knight that comes down the stairs with a 30 rack. That's who Tim Patrick is on this roster. Speaking of the roster, who is your favorite wide receiver? Because you can go a variety of different directions. Jeudy is mine, and that's very basic of me, but Courtland Sutton is a fine answer along with Tim Patrick. All right, next up on the show, let's keep the train moving here. The Athletic's biggest concern in 2022. I thought their analysis was very in-depth and very interesting, so we're going to check that out. But first, I want to tell everyone about our proud sponsor today, Aura. So, we shop, we bank, we work, we do everything online, and we also aren't very secure online. That's where Aura can step in and help you out, right? You don't want your identity stolen. You don't want to be Dwight Schrute of nearly 50 million Americans every single year suffer from identity theft, Jim. It's not a joke. Aura can help you out. Plus, they're giving you guys a 14-day free trial. That way you can just dip your toe in the water and figure out if that's something you're interested in. Aura.com/chatsports. That link's in the comments and the description of today's show. Speaking of today's show, second story. Biggest concern for 2022, The Athletic picks Randy Gregory as that biggest concern. So, Gregory missed all the offseason workouts, OTAs, and minicamp after undergoing knee surgery and shoulder surgery this offseason. Neither was a surprise for the Broncos when he got the knee surgery after the season ended in January. And then shortly after he signed with the Broncos in free agency, he got little shoulder cleanup surgery in March, which wiped him out for all of OTAs and minicamp. If you don't remember, he signed that 5-year, $70 million contract with only $28 million guaranteed. So basically, it could just be a 2-year, $14 million contract if things don't work out after 2 seasons. But let's look at the Athletics write-up and see what they said about Gregory. Head coach Nathaniel Hackett has been evasive when asked about a timeline for Gregory's return. The Broncos are counting heavily on Gregory and 2018 first-round pick Bradley Chubb being on the field consistently in 2022, something neither player has done consistently in recent seasons. It would be a positive sign if Gregory were able to get on the field early in camp. Listen, I'm not all that concerned about Randy Gregory missing OTAs and minicamp, but it is less than ideal when it's with a new team. And that new team has a new head coach, and they're introducing a whole new playbook, a new defensive coordinator. That isn't what you're shooting for, but Gregory's not a rookie. He can be caught to speed quickly. I would love for him to be an active participant and fully able to go in the preseason so we can get those reps because he's never been able to be a full participant for an entire season. So to say I'm not at least a little bit concerned about his not availability during the, that didn't sound right, but you know what I mean, unavailability during the offseason, I'd be lying to you guys. All right, let's get back on track, Matthew. But what's your panic level with Gregory, right? Where are you scaling it? 1 to 100. I'm thinking about this myself. Get your votes in down below. I'm at a 49. I picked that number deliberately because I think 50 is like, whoa, we're at 50 now. We're halfway there. But 49 is one of those like mental blocks. It's like it's $19.99. It's not $20, but it's almost $20. So like I'm not quite at 50, but I'm almost there. But hopefully all that would be put to bed and he can be a full go during training camp, which is 4 days away. Almost here, 3 weeks and change. All right. Moving on, final story of today's show. Albert Okwuegbunam, no, hold the applause, I know, was picked by Bleacher Report as a future household name candidate across the NFL. So let's look at Bleacher Report's write-up really quickly. The athletic tight end only saw 40 targets in his second season, but he made the most of them. He had 33 receptions for 330 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was while playing second fiddle to Noah Fant at the position. Fant led all Broncos receivers with 68 receptions and drew 90 targets. With Fant off to Seattle and the deal that brought Wilson to Denver, the road is clear for Okwuegbunam to have a much larger role. And they're spot on right there with what Albert O could be stepping into this season. Entering year 3 so far in his career, limited action in his first season, but he definitely showed some promising looks and snaps last season where he tallied 2 touchdowns en route to building up 3 so far in his career over 18 games. Listen, Alberto, I think, is one of those prime sleeper tight end fantasy picks where, as a Broncos fan, if you're in a league with a bunch of people that aren't Broncos fans, they may not really have him on their radar. But post round 10, when all the good tight ends are gone, there's that like first tier of tight ends and then like 50 feet of crap and you're banking on one of those guys working out. Alberto, I think, fits that category very nicely where he could shoot up to the first tier this season with the amount of volume and targets he's going to be getting. Now, his new offensive coordinator, Justin Uden, provided a lot of complimentary things about Alberto, saying this playbook is not easy. And then with the position that he plays, you know he took a gigantic step during that second week of OTAs. Thought that he did a really good job of owning his job and not trying to do too much. The other side of Alberto becoming a household name is, what about Greg Dulcich, the team's second pick in the 2022 NFL Draft? What kind of role is he going to carve out? Because hand up, I got pretty drunk on the Greg Dulcich Kool-Aid back during OTAs and minicamp. He had that luscious V of hair. Not going to finish the line, but you know it if you know the movie. But that awesome flow and short shorts, yeah, a lot of people were, foaming at the mouth a little bit when it came to Greg Dulcich. But how different will it be for him when the pads are on and he's got to not only just catch balls at, wide open field where there's no defenders around, but he's got to fight through a tight end and then make a block and do the physical part of being a tight end and not just a receiver. That's where I think Dulcich might not jump off the page initially. Whereas Albert O in year 3, he's used to going up against Bradley Chubb, Draymond Jones, and other bigger defensive end and outside linebackers. Let's see how Dulcich adjusts to that in his first season. But I want to play a quick game here with you guys to kind of wrap up the show. Name a random Broncos tight end. It's got to be random, all right? You can't come out and just say Julius Thomas. Like, that's too easy. You can't say Noah Fant. It's got to be random. I'm thinking Daniel Fells. Like, that level of random, right? A guy who played a couple of seasons for the team, made some starts, so he wasn't just like a nobody, but, not on the top of everyone's radar. All right, Shannon Sharpe is what producer Marshall is going with. Not random. Like, that's like the best tight end in franchise history. So you can't say Shannon Sharpe, but you got to go below that, all right? Virgil Green, that would be a good one too. All right, if you haven't subscribed already, please, sweet Jesus, do so. Let's get to 8,300 subscribers. 50 away. If you've already subscribed and you want to support the show, send it to a friend, send it to a loved one, send it to your grandma. I mean, they subscribe to anything, all right? That's why they should also get Aura, because they will be having all their data leaked. But not here at Chat Sports. Hit that big red button, subscribe, 50 away, help us do so. We'll see you guys later with more, or hopefully I'll see you guys later. If we don't get there, I might not.